I'm Sean from LAPoliceGear.com. We're at the 2008 SHOT Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here looking for the latest and greatest tactical products that'll be coming out in the next year. During our travels through the SHOT Show, we've come across Zero Tolerance. We're very excited to be carrying the Zero Tolerance knife brand. It's truly a high quality knife, one of the sharpest knives we've ever seen coming out of the box. I have with me Steve, who's the product manager of Zero Tolerance. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the knives in detail. Also, I'd like to tell you that working in partnership with Zero Tolerance, we have some limited production knives that'll be coming out in the months to follow. You'll be able to see those at LAPoliceGear.com. I'm going to turn this over to Steve now, who's going to talk about the great Zero Tolerance knife.
Thanks, Sean. Yeah, a little history first about Zero Tolerance knives. It's a fairly new division of Kershaw knives. Most everybody's heard of Kershaw knives. A very high quality line of knives. It's been around since 1974. A few years ago, we decided that it would be a real good idea to get into the law enforcement and law enforcement and military market. We've always had great knives for sporting, and we've had a few knives that were designed for police work, but nothing really specifically for law enforcement and military. So we all put our heads together and decided to come up with this new line called Zero Tolerance. There's several collaborations involved with Strider Knives, Ken Onion, Grant and Gavin Hawk. So we've got some real power behind this line. I'm going to go over the line fairly quickly, a few of our best-selling items, and tell you some of the high points about them. With this line of knives, we're using only the best materials we can get, real high-speed steels, great components. Overall, it's top-shelf stuff. What we've done with the line is we tried to round it out. It's a fairly narrow line at this time. It's always expanding. It's been around for just a little over 2 years. A lot of you might be familiar on the Kershaw side with the Speed Safe. We've incorporated that into quite a few of our knives in the line. We've got several folders and a few fixed blades. One of our best-selling knives, the 0301. This is actually my favorite. It's the one I carry every day. What we've done with this knife is we've used a great steel. It's an S30V steel. It's extremely strong, very corrosion resistant, and it holds an edge like you wouldn't believe. The front scale, we use a G10 material. Nice thing about this material is that it's not affected by the elements. I mean, if it gets really hot or really cold, it's not going to expand or contract and lose its shape. But another great feature about this is if it happens to take a round, it's not going to fragment. It's a frame lock design. I don't know if you can see this, the lock is built right into the frame. To make this strong, we wanted to use some of the best materials available, so we chose titanium. Gives it a very good, strong lockup. Folds closed, opens up with one little flip of the finger on the flipper bar, and locks up very solid with the titanium. The blade, as I mentioned, was S30V steel. You can kind of see the traditional tiger stripe. That's some of the inputs to show off some of the designs that were the Strider aspect. We're using a hinderer on it. As I mentioned before, Speed Safe, one flip, away you go. Again, this is my all-time favorite knife. It's a dandy. We also have got in the line quite a few fixed blades. This is a new model, the 0121. And when we built these knives, we didn't just design some knives and put them out on the market. We did a lot of research behind them. We sent them out in the field over in Iraq and Afghanistan, let the guys test them out, give us their feedback, what they like, what they don't like, and we would make the changes that they advised us to do. This particular knife, it's a great utility knife. You can use it as a pry bar, you can use it as an entry tool. We put a cord cutter in the choil so it can be used for det cord. Hump back on the back, so if you had to cut through a steel cable, you can put it on the cable and beat the crap out of it, and it'll take it. The Zero Tolerance knives have the same warranty as the Kershaw side, unconditional lifetime warranty. The guys that are going to be using these knives in the field are the guys that are putting their lives on the line. We don't want them to think, oh, if I use my knife and break it, I don't want to use that. If you break the knife, you get a new knife. No matter what happens to the knife, it's replaced. We stand behind this 100%. We also have a lifetime sharp guarantee. Anytime you want to get a factory edge back on it, send it back into the factory. We'll get a factory edge back on it, no charge. Some of the other collaborations, one I wanted to mention real quick is the PVA Heritage Fund, the Paralyzed Veterans of America Heritage Fund. We donate a portion of the sale of these knives to the PVA Heritage Fund to help the guys out that have been wounded overseas, that have been fighting for our country, get them back out doing the things that they love to do beforehand, hunting and fishing, and so by buying these knives, you're helping those guys out. It's a real big deal to us, and we're very proud of that. This is a new addition to the line. Call it the JB2. We did this originally for the Navy SEALs as a parachute cord cutter. We found that this tool worked extremely well for a rescue tool. So we added a carbide tip glass breaker to the back. You've got 270 degrees of unexposed cutting surface. So this is an ideal tool for if you come across an accident, you have to break a window and cut a seat belt. This is perfect for that. This is the toughest knife we have in the line. This is the 0100. I've had this knife out on hunting trips and tried to break it and I couldn't. I've shot it with my Glock, didn't break it. It's a 3V tool steel. You can use this knife to stick into a crevice on a cinder block wall and use it to climb over the top. You can use it as an entry tool. You can cut through the trunk of a car with it. The 3V tool steel is extremely strong. With every steel out there, there's always advantages and drawbacks. With the 3V tool steel, you can have some corrosion on it. So what we did with this knife is we gave it a double coating. The first coating is melanite, bonds right into the steel. Over the top of that, we use a DLC. It's a diamond-like carbon. It's a tungsten material, outstanding, extremely strong. Again, this is the toughest knife we have. We tried to break one of these in the shop and we put it in our press, and it took about 4,600 pounds to break this knife. So if you want to go through a door, that's the one you want to have. Recently there was a magazine that did a review on several knives. They picked out 8 knives and excuse me, I have to choke here for a second. Recently there was a magazine that did a review on the best knives that they could find under $200. They rated the lock, they rated the steel, they rated how it carries, how it's used for prying. And we're kind of the new guys in the block, and we're pretty proud that this particular knife, the 0200 ST, came out the top of the review out of the SWAT teams that tested it. So we're very proud of that. Again, this one's been the most popular knife with the law enforcement. It's a little more low profile. We're using an S30V steel. The number on this one's the 0400. We also offer it in a partially serrated knife, the 0400 ST. We're using an S30V steel in it, speed safe, and tip up, tip down carry options. If you'd like to see more information on this line of knives, you can go to www.ztknives.com. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching the preview of the knives. Thanks.